Hi, I'm Bill Bradley. Join me for a recent excerpt of American Voices. Dr. Cynthia Hall and her husband, Micaiah Hall, are changing the way people eat and connect to the land. They're the owners of Freehaven Farms in Lawnside, New Jersey. While providing delicious, chemical-free produce, they're partnered with the Food Bank of South Jersey so people struggling financially have access to healthy food. They also run summer camps where they teach kids about farming. They run online courses and tours, educating the public.
Ooh, my favorite. Oh, this okra. It's so good. I know people always say, like, I never knew you could eat okra raw, but you definitely can. And for people that say that okra is slimy, no slime when you eat it raw. But the main thing is that it's so much more nutritious, so much more delicious when you grow it yourself.
Micaiah is the author of Farmalosophy, Nature's Lessons That Help You Grow. Dr. Hall is an adjunct professor of environmental sciences at Rowan University.
Get your summertime stuff. Get your Fresh Box. We got monthly Fresh Box subscriptions, and some of my favorite stuff is coming out right now. This is a plant that's easy to grow. So besides the Fresh Box, remember, we got a class coming up for y'all showing you how to grow your own food. You can even grow it out of a container. This is delicious, raw.
She and Micaiah are here with me now. Welcome to American Voices.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having me, Senator Bradley.
So, what are your backgrounds and how did you first get involved in farming?
That's a good question. I'll start that. This is Micaiah. You know, I'm affectionately known in the social media world as the pharmacist because we assist people with the farm.
I see.
Yeah, I started growing food early in my day. It was actually just a part of something that we did in my house. I come from a big family, 6 kids in the family. I was raised in Connecticut, and we always had a garden in the backyard. Growing food was part of the daily chores.
Mm-hmm.
I started working on a bigger farm at 12 years old. I worked on a 16-acre farm, and when me and Cynthia finally got married, we turned our backyard into a oasis where we grew so much food we had to give it away.
Great. And Cynthia, how about you?
Well, as Micaiah mentioned, I really got into it when we first got married. So I don't have the same background with gardening growing up, but I was always interested in science and nature. So that's what I pursued and became a geochemist studying soil. So I was gaining an understanding of what happens in the soil in terms of the chemistry and not realizing that I would be applying that to food until, we got married and, had a family and started our first garden. And that's really where I got into it, was just helping Micaiah in the backyard and learning along the way of, how to turn all this soil that I've been learning about into actual food that we were eating and feeding our children.
So, Micaiah, I understand you were a plumber for a while. You had plumbing skills?
Yeah. I went to a trade school, vocational trade school. You know, coming up in my day, they were kind of common. So I studied plumbing and heating. I ended up being in Atlanta to start my own business and get my plumbing license. And that's where we ended up meeting and starting our family. We had our first house there in Atlanta. Like I mentioned, we started growing food there. But when we went to Philadelphia, when Cynthia got a job with Westchester University, in the city, it's a little bit more challenging to grow food. So I started getting into urban agriculture and things from there. But when we first moved to Philadelphia, I was still plumbing. I was still doing plumbing work and everything. And it was just, it's kind of organic, the transition.
Right. Well, when did it become a business for you as opposed to just growing food for your family and friends?
That happened when we moved to Lawnside, New Jersey. Actually, Cynthia will probably get a little bit into her history, but she's from Lawnside, New Jersey, 3rd generation. So we bought an acre of land here in Lawnside, and we wanted to get out of the city. It's just, it's tough living in the city. We got to deal everything with from lead in the soil to crime and just, population. The overpopulation of the city makes living and farming difficult. So we moved right outside of the city, right over the bridge into New Jersey. And that was about 6-7 years ago. And Cynthia was at the time also teaching classes on environmental studies that were bringing in certain lessons and practices that we were currently using in farming, things that build up the ecosystem and the environment,
Can you tell us what you see on your farm, the colors you see, the various plants that you grow, the vegetables?
Yeah, so we love to grow greens, We have a very, very rich soil system that we built up over time. And we seem to do the best with growing a lot of greens. When I say greens, that's a variety of different brassicas in the kale family to mustard greens, collard greens, bok choy cabbages, arugulas. We grow all of those things and then beyond. As far as our pollinators and fruiting vegetables, we grow everything from eggplant to sweet peppers, a variety. Everything we grow at least 4 varieties of them. So when I say kale, we grow, red Russian kale, dino kale, curly kale, and sometimes broadleaf kale. But we'll grow more than one variety of things to create more diversity. But a lot of peppers, eggplants, tomatoes, cherry tomatoes. For fruit, we grow a lot of watermelon. That's one of our major crops. So beyond the 1 acre that we have at Lawnside, over time, we've partnered with another farmer in Pemberton, New Jersey, where we're able to grow larger amounts of food, things like our watermelons, grow out there, our pumpkins.
So when did you start working with Food Pantry, and how does that relationship and operation work?
Yeah, so it's been good working with the Food Pantry. This is really our first season, building this relationship. We started a pilot program to kind of see how it would work out, and things worked out really well. One of the things about our farm that's unique is that we have a strong presence on social media because we became an educational farm, especially with the component of Cynthia being a professor. We just found that it was very necessary to educate people, educate our market so that people would understand the difference between fruits and vegetables. All food isn't the same. All farmers aren't the same. And so we grow a high quality of food, but for people to appreciate it, we had to do a little bit of educating. That's kind of how the summer camps came about. And so with that work right there is kind of really made us unique in that now we have maybe 140,000 people that follow us on social media and learn lessons on growing food and learn lessons about the difference of food that's local, food that's organic, food that's grown with intention. And so working with the food bank has allowed us to expand that market even more within our local region, because we really feel that it's important to do something that we call localize our food system, where we look at using local farmers to serve the needs of our local communities. And so that's kind of how we started this vision, was just trying to do that, trying to find a way that we can localize the food system. There's a food bank that has been very supportive of us as farmers. And in turn, we've been able to connect with the distribution points and know exactly what the needs of those communities are and cater to them. Yeah.
How have they responded to these healthy options you're providing? How have people responded?
Oh, man. This season, we bought things to the distribution sites that they've never had before. And that's because we're able to focus on things that we're growing locally, like our yellow watermelons. We have yellow watermelons that have seeds inside of them, which is something that is highly requested. And so, all the watermelons that we are growing, we were sending the majority of them to our new partners. And yeah, just the feedback about being able to have certain things that are local, fresh, rare. And I think the freshness was the biggest feedback we got, though.
Kyle, what's your favorite thing to grow on your farm?
If I had to answer, oh man, that's a tough question.
Well, I'm not asking you easy questions. You're a guy who can answer tough questions.
Yeah, you're right. All right. So, whew, okay, it's three. And I'm gonna narrow it down to one. But I love growing kale, collard greens, and okra. Now,
Uh-huh.
if I had to narrow it down to one, I'd probably say the okra.
So tell me, what about the most delicious ingredient you grow from your perspective?
Cynthia, what do you say?
The most delicious, I would say, man, it's a toss-up. Definitely the yellow watermelon, is like a crowd favorite, and most people have never tried it before until they've had one of ours. But I would say also the sun gold cherry tomatoes.
Mm.
I really look forward to those every year. I enjoy them because you can just pick them and eat them. With the watermelon, you have to cut it. It's a little bit more involved. You have to wait for it to grow a little bit longer. But those cherry tomatoes, because they're so surprisingly sweet, way sweeter than what you normally experience at the grocery store. That's something that when we have the kids there for summer camp, we always are able to convert some kids that don't want to even taste it to loving it and eating, more than they should. So I would say the sun gold
Mhm.
tomato. Dr. Cynthia Hall, Freehaven Farms, and I'm out here, doing the work, testing the soil, but really want to encourage everybody to get their soil tested. Before you put anything in the ground, you got to know what's in your soil because that absolutely affects how healthy your plants are going to be. We're running a special 50% off all of our soil testing consultations. So check it out. We have different levels available, but we got you here at Freehaven Farms.
Yo, it's raining behind me. It's been raining for days. We've been catching tons of rainwater. It's good.
I got some dino kale right here, some dinosaur kale, and I got some parsley that I'm gonna companion with the dino kale.
Parsley, it will attract. Now that's the power of attraction. It's gonna attract the insects that you need that are gonna prey on the bad insects, like ladybugs, praying mantis, things of that nature. Don't get it mixed up and accidentally plant your lettuce near your parsley because those aren't good companions. All right, the parsley kind of makes the lettuce want to bolt.
So, what about recipes? What are some of the delicious recipes you've created from the produce on the farm? Cynthia, how about you?
Let's see, last week I made those pumpkin muffins, and those are really nice using the pumpkins that we grow. I make eggplant tacos. So using the eggplant and kind of, cooking it with the tomatoes and onions and even beans and making tacos with those. I make an okra, tomato, corn salad. So it's sort of all the different summer produce that we have. And that's one way that our kids really enjoy eating okra. Again, not everyone is in love with okra or the texture, but that's one way that they really enjoy it. And then recently I started roasting the okra too, kind of making like okra fries, like making
Mm,
them crispy in the oven. And those have been really delicious too.
that sounds great. My mouth is watering. So, so tell me, you run a summer camp where you teach kids about farming. In terms of the impact of this on the kids that go to the school, do you find that there's an impact that is wider than simply just learning about the food? Does it affect their lives generally?
Yeah, we started an internship this summer with Hamden High School. They would come out here once a week and do an internship at the farm and learn how to grow food. They would learn how to farm. I taught them every aspect of the farm business. So, preparing beds to planting to harvesting to bringing them to market and everything. And the feedback that I got from these are young people that live in the concrete jungle and don't get to spend too much time in nature. And they were asking about how they could be more involved in farming. And this is like one of the main goals of Freehaven Farms is to grow growers. We realize that there's a disparity that the average age of farmers in America is 60, 65 years old. And the farms aren't being inherited by their children as they were in the past. And so we need more young farmers. We need more young people to be interested. And one of these young men actually started working a summer job with us. He got so involved, started making some money. He told me he never made so much money before. He never, thought that he would see himself as a farmer. And this youth from Camden has a lot of potential to be one of the future farmers of America. And I think that's these are the most important seeds that we're probably planting right now.
That's great. What is it that you teach them that surprises them the most?
I would say, the relationship that insects have on our food, or between the insects and the food. So at the start of summer camp, you have two types of children. You have the children that are curious about bugs and poke them and let them land on them. And then, of course, you have the children that scream and run away from every single bug that they see. But one of the days that we spent on the farm, because we have different themes, is on insects. So we read books about insects, and then we learn about the connection, of course, the pollinators and how they help the plants grow and produce all the delicious fruit. And then also even the decomposers, so the worms and the beetles that help break down the compost and the leaves and things like that. So, once they have an understanding that bugs are not just annoying and, scary, but they're actually helpful and they're necessary. They're important on our farm. We've seen a lot of kids go from, screaming and even crying at the sight of bugs. And by the end of the week, where we do art projects and they get to, do paintings of the bugs, and then they're, accepting of the bugs a little bit more and not screaming. They may walk away from them a little bit, but we definitely have seen kids turn that corner.
Mm-hmm. So how has learning about farming affected their lives, would you say? What changes do you see in them?
I think that the youth come to the farm and they change their relationship with food. For a lot of these young people, their first relationship with food is in the grocery store or in the restaurant, and they've never even seen half of the things that are on their plate actually grow. And so they're amazed when they actually see broccoli growing, and learn that that's the flower part of the plant. How many youth have come to the farm and we'll ask them, how many of y'all like cucumbers? Oh, no, we don't like cucumbers. Okay, well, how many of y'all like potatoes? Oh, no, we don't like potatoes. Okay, well, how many like pickles? Oh, we all like pickles. Well, those are cucumbers. Oh, wow. How many of y'all like French fries? Oh, we all like French fries. Well, those are potatoes. Oh, wow. And they connect the dots and they change their relationship with food.
Interesting. Cynthia, how about you? What have you observed?
Yeah, I think definitely the change in their relationship with food, but also with each other. I've seen kids come into the camp. A lot of them don't know anyone, and they really start to understand that these relationships that they have with each other, with other young people, how important that is for their own development, that, we have them work with each other to do experiments and go on scavenger hunts. And they realize that, they're a community, right? That they also are members of our society and they play a role, and that relationship they have with each other, it starts as young children and continues throughout their lives. So I think that's something that I see them develop throughout the course of the week, their ability to forge those relationships. And that's been really important. But we've also had folks come from out of town, from New York and from DC, and they travel and stay here for the week and let their kids come to camp. So right now it's pretty small. We host it on our 1 acre. So we have 10 to 12 kids each session. So they're usually just coming with their parents or with their family members. But it's
Mm-hmm.
been growing every year.
So you have 10 to 12 on your 1 acre. What about the acres in Pemberton Farm?
Yeah, so we're mostly just producing food out there. In at the site in Lawnside, we have that more set up as an outdoor classroom where we're
Great.
able to facilitate all the lessons. And we've had up to 25 and 30 kids at the farm at one time in the summer camp. So,
And how long does the camp last?
1 week, goes Monday through Friday, and they come for a whole day session from about 9 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
So what advice do you have for people living in apartments on how they can grow their own food?
Well, that's funny. We've given out so much advice on it that we've started a class. We have an online class called the Grow Your Own Garden Club, where we meet folks every week on Monday, and we teach online lessons about how to start gardens. In an apartment, one of the things that we teach people is how to use what they have, and they can use windows, the windowsill. They could use decks, patios, fire escapes, even to grow as long as the weather outside is conducive. As we get into the wintertime, that's a little bit difficult. So what we do is we create indoor gardens with grow tents. And grow tents, you can have everything from growing out of containers and soil to growing hydroponically and creating an ecosystem for your plants to thrive even indoors. You create light through grow lights that have all the spectrums that your plants need to be able to still get fed through the light, just like the sunlight. And they receive photosynthesis, everything they need. And you can have a flourishing garden right in your apartment in that little grow tent.
Mm-hmm.
When we first got our farm, we had a lot of challenges with getting certain things in place, with getting loans. And as time has progressed, and we're looking at about our 6th year of having our farm, things have definitely improved in terms of trying to get a loan, trying to get assistance, trying to get answers, and have yourself situated as a Black farmer.
And I'll add to that also that I think that a lot of Black people left agriculture, left the South in, hopes of changing their circumstances, by getting jobs in industry and getting jobs, doing manufacturing and things like that, that were not tied to the land because of the trauma that we experienced. And I think that still lives with us as Black people, and that, we aren't attracted to that kind of work anymore because of the past. And so I think those are some of the things that we're trying to undo and trying to show another image of, Black farmers, that we're happy, we're successful, we have a family, we're educated,
Sure.
we, are able to still thrive in this society now. And it's not a thing that just our ancestors were forced to do.
Mm-hmm. Well, Dr. Hall and Micaiah, thank you for educating people about farming and giving people a healthy produce option.
Thank you for having us and giving us a chance to tell our story.
Really appreciate the interview and what you're doing. Just keep it up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I've been speaking with the owners of Freehaven Farms in Lawnside, New Jersey. Micaiah's book is called Farmalosophy, Nature's Lessons That Help You Grow. Find out more, visit us on Facebook. It's American Voices with Senator Bill Bradley. I love hearing from you. Write me. And we're also now on Instagram, and I hope you'll check us out there too. On Instagram, our page is Bill Bradley on SiriusXM. Write me your thoughts on anything you've heard today. Follow us.
Lose yourself in nature and find peace. Lose yourself in nature and find peace.
Thank you for listening to American Voices here on my YouTube channel. For more interviews celebrating the goodness and creativity of the American people, click the subscribe button below.